Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 3 of our F2 2020 Mick Schumacher career mode, where today we're here back for the Spanish Grand Prix. Now obviously if you guys missed out on last weekend's videos from the Dutch Grand Prix at Circuit Zandvoort, I would definitely recommend going back and checking them out before obviously we dive into this weekend. But currently you can see the championship standings. Artem Markelov leads the way on 50 points there, ahead of Callum Ilott, Robert Schwartzman, Armstrong, and myself rounding out the top 5. But quickly before we jump into this weekend's action though, if you still for whatever reason haven't played F1 2020 or some of Codemasters' other biggest games that are currently available, they have a sale at the moment going on for PC users over on the Codemasters store. There will be a link down in the description. Some pretty insane deals on the likes of F1 2020, Dirt 5, and my personal highlight, I think, of the whole thing is Dirt Rally 2.0, with all the content included, all the DLC stuff, for just £11. Yes, if you use my code Matt212 as well, there'll be a link on the screen, obviously, as well, down in the description, to both the store and my code. You'll get another 10% off, as well as, obviously, you help the channel out as well. So, obviously, if that's something you're interested in, make sure you go down and check in the description as well. But yeah, let's dive in then here to the Spanish GP weekend. So here we go then, qualifying ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. Then you can see it's actually full wet conditions here for the first time this season. So things, yeah, certainly going to be very interesting for our first wet qualifying session. Obviously we had a wet race last time out in Zandvoort. So hopefully, you know, we were pretty strong in that session. Maybe we can have the same sort of luck here today. But yeah, trying to get the one lap qualifyings hooked up has been a bit difficult in the first couple of rounds of this season. It's definitely not been something to write home about for ourselves early on this season, but hopefully, yeah, in the tricky conditions, maybe the AI will have a few more slip-ups, and we can really try and move ourselves towards the front of the field there, as that is a lot of opposite lock through the first corner. They're lucky somehow we keep that pointing in the right direction as we head through turn 3. Yeah, I've almost got no idea how we managed to keep that pointing in the right way there, but you can see Markelov, obviously current championship leader, seems to be setting a pace at the moment as we head out of Sector 1. Let's see if we can just try and close back up a little bit of time as we head through the middle sector there, just snagging the front inside wheel just a little bit. You can see how tightly bunched the entire field still is in these one-shot qualifyings. There is really not much room for error in these ones as we try to get the power down up the hill. Markelov, you can still see a good few car lengths up the road as we try and get the car rotated through turn 9. That was a pretty decent run through there. You can see we're pretty much now in the mid-pack as we head down in towards Sector 3, actually purple through that middle sector, so that was pretty good. But now we just need to try and keep it nice and tidy as we head in towards the final few corners of the lap there. You can see we're still making a few small inroads on the Russian driver's lead at the front, but I think Markelov is looking pretty safe for another pole position here in this season. Take a lot of curb through the final couple of corners. That was a huge amount of curb through the final corner. Gonna get a bit cheeky through that final turn, but power down out of the final turn. It is going to be our best qualifying session of the year. 5th place in the end. I'm rather worryingly very happy with that one there. And yeah, 5th place on the grid here for the F2 feature race. That could set us up for a good start.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are Markelov, Schwartzman and Nobuharu Matsushita. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So there we go then, Markelov and Schwartzman front on the grid once more there. So the Russian drivers, as always, looking very feisty there. But obviously those 4 bonus points for Markelov going to be very useful in just building up that title margin that he's got at the start of this season there. Matsushita 3rd, ahead of PK, myself, Giotto, Guan Yu Zhou, Marina Sato, and then Armstrong and Ilott rounding at the top 10 there. So yeah, a bit of a mixed up grid. Not too many major surprises looking at it. I'm sure Dan Tickton probably would have wished he'd done a whole lot better there. The same can be said for Mazepin as well. But yeah, only 3/10 off pole. That was pretty decent for us. Let's dive in then here for the Spanish GP feature race.
Welcome to the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya. This circuit has seen some exciting racing over the last quarter century. The question is, which of the young drivers below will be the next to write a chapter of that illustrious history? Here's the venue we'll be racing at, known to the teams, well known to the drivers. Many will have raced here as teenagers. We've got 16 turns, the elevation of 30 meters, and some famous moments down through the years. In commentary, I'm Alex Jakes, and I'm joined once again by 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I imagine you've been around this track countless times by now. Any tips for the drivers out there today?
Yeah, you're right. This is a track that has been in rotation for both Formula 1 and Formula 2 for years now. My advice is to watch your tires management. The track has a bumpy surface that can be very demanding on drivers and tires. Play it safe most of the way around, then look at the long straight into turn 1 for overtake opportunities.
As the engineers make their last inspection of the cars, let's take a look at today's grid order for the race. Artem Markelov lines up on pole position, and it's Robert Schwartzman in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Matsushita, Piquet, Mick Schumacher, and Giotto, Joe, Sato, Armstrong, Callum-Ilott, Lundgaard, Sonoda, Felipe Dragovic, and Alesi, Mazepin, Nissany, Ticktum, and Louis Delatraz, Deruvala, and Jack Aitken, Galeo, and Guilherme Samaya completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are then, on the grid, ready for round 3 of the season here for the Spanish GP feature race. Our best qualifying session, hopefully, fingers crossed, will open up a good race for us as well. But yeah, very interesting actually, the team wanting us to go from hards to softs. I'm not sure that's going to be the way to go this weekend. I honestly believe that starting on the softs is probably going to be critical to a good race here. We're going to pit end of lap 7, obviously a 19-lap race ahead of us as well. But yeah, that should hopefully mean, obviously, we still get a good start if everyone else is on hards. Hopefully we can get to the front and romp away, but we'll wait and see about this early on. Yeah, the first couple of laps are going to be absolutely critical here based on our race strategy, and it looks like everyone else is actually starting on the hards, so we need a good start. They haven't been strong for us early on, so fingers crossed today can be our day. Ready then, waiting on the 5 red lights here for the Spanish GP, and it is lights out, and away we go. Off to a not good start. I don't think anyone's too surprised about that as we head down in towards turn 1 there. Matsushita trying to look around the outside as Sato comes across us just a bit in towards the first corner there. We had, I think that was Armstrong trying to look around the outside, but we firmly slammed the door shut on that one. And now, hopefully, as you can already see just how much extra grip these soft compound tyres have as we head out of the first couple of corners there. Giotto going defensive, he's aware of it as we head down in towards sector 2. Just look at this! Around the outside of absolutely everyone, Pedro Piquet's got nothing he can do to defend from us with this extra grip as we head down the hill there. And straight away, we haven't actually lost, well, I mean, we've gained places then at the start of this race there, straight up into P4 of the race there. The team very happy with that one as we head down in through sector 2 there. But yeah, Matsushita, the next car up the road there, is still at the front of the field though, is of course Artem Markelov. Don't know how I've suddenly forgot his name, but yeah, we are making moves. Ooh, almost running to the back of Matsushita towards the end of sector 2 there, in towards the hairpin, but we live to fight another day. Heading through the final couple of corners, obviously the Spanish Grand Prix circuit notorious for being difficult to overtake around, but just look at how much extra momentum we can carry out the final corner there. Markelov obviously sets fastest lap of the race there so far, but I think we're actually struggling a bit with top end speed. We'll slot back into Matsushita, just get a little bit of extra slipstream. Much later on the brakes, we've actually run a bit deep into the corner there, but we get it slowed down. And we're up into the podium places once again then, just behind our teammate Robert Schwartzman, who's over a second up the road already, but I'm sure that gap is not going to be there for very long. Coming through the final couple of corners of lap 2 then, I'm hoping Schwartzman and I obviously can work together this weekend. Obviously we haven't had a win yet between us so far this season, but we are still looking very good in the Constructors' Championship as we head out the final turn of lap 2. Can we get a good run? Yes, once again, able to utilise that extra grip there, take all the slipstream we can as we set a new fast lap of the Grand Prix there. Going a little bit quicker than Markelov, but you can just see top end speed Our teammate there just running a little bit less wing than myself. We're going to be a bit calmer on the brakes this time than we were on Matsushita, and we do stop ourselves now up into P2. But again, we need to be in the lead before obviously we pit at right lap 7 in this race. Obviously we'll see how well the tyres last if we want any chance of winning this, as we've already closed down the gap to Markelov so drastically through the first couple of corners. Can we have a look around the outside? Wasn't quite expecting to find the room there, but Markelov's slow on the exit and still got so much extra grip as we have a look at the inside there. Very, very deep on the brakes as we head down the hill. Markelov's going to try and come back at us. He's kept the nose at the inside. Can we hook it up around the outside through turns 7 and 8? Yes, we can. As we are now up into the lead of this Spanish GP feature race, but now we need to try and romp away. Another new fastest lap as we head on to lap 4 there, but yeah, we've already broken up away from Markelov, so hopefully, just maybe, Schwartzman can get past him with some DRS, as that, way too late in towards the first corner. We'll try not to gain an advantage from it. There we go. And yeah, we still obviously hold on to the lead. Heading on to lap 6, we're still setting purple sectors at the moment, but the front left tyre is not looking good, up over 60% wear already in this race, but I'm a little bit worried. Obviously we still have been able to pull out quite a good gap in recent laps, but with how much we struggled to get around cars at the start, I think without such a massive a tyre advantage, things could get very, very difficult very, very quickly in this race once we do pit. But I think, yeah, we've got no real choice but to pit this lap. You can see that tyre up to nearly 70% wear as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap, and locking it up is not going to help us one bit as we head in towards the final few turns. Yeah, there's no point risking it and trying to drive another lap and end up with a puncture here, otherwise we're just going to be in an even bigger world of hurt through the final couple of corners, though we definitely don't want to risk taking these tyres for another lap as we head down in towards the pits. Make sure we get it slowed down to 37 miles an hour. Just about get it stopped in time there, as yeah, the front tyre 72% wear by the end of the lap there. So we are obviously going to drop back down, I would have thought, right to the rear of the field. Obviously quite a long pit lane around at this Spanish GP circuit, and yeah, I think we might be set to struggle for a few laps if we end up in too much traffic. Getting those hard compound tyres on, they better last 5.8, 6.2 even in the end there, and yeah, we are going to be out a little way behind Samaya in this race, but hopefully that'll allow us to get into a good groove with these tyres, and by the time they all pit, we won't have lost too much time in traffic. It's quite weird, obviously, having to adapt to these harder compounded tyres. It's amazing just how big the grip difference is between the two sets. There's no doubt, well, I've got no doubt in my mind how we were able to pull away. I felt like almost like Superman in the car at the start of the race, but yeah, now it's quite understandable, and obviously everyone else is going to be trying to do the same thing to me towards the end of this race as well here. But yeah, we are taking good time at Samaya and Galeo. But yeah, again, hopefully they're all going to probably pit, what, about lap 12 in this race. We won't get held up behind them, as we do actually go green through Sector 1, so maybe it just feels a bit sluggish, but it is still quite fast. There we go. That's what I like to see. New fast lap of the race at the moment there, as I'm trying to monitor the gap to Markelov. Obviously we are on much fresher rubber, so we are still pulling out a little bit more time. But is it going to be enough? It's going to be one of those races where it already just comes down to the final couple of laps. And I mean, at the moment, we're not even halfway through. Coming towards the end of lap 10, we've now got the DRS on Samaya just in front of us, as this is not what we need now in this race. We are going to spend a couple of laps getting held up in the traffic, as I can't imagine these guys are going to pit sort of, what, lap 12, lap 13 in this race here. So we need to be trying to make a couple of moves where possible, but I feel like this DRS train is going to make things very, very difficult as we just try and roll the car through the final couple of corners of the lap. Try not to do anything too bad to the tyres still, as again, we able still obviously got a bit more grip than the guys around us. Can we get a run on Samaya down towards turn 1? He's aware of it. He's going to go defensive on us as we head in towards the first corner. A little bit later on the brakes, try and not snag anything. And we do make our way around the outside of the Brazilian. We get the inside for turn 2. So still quite clearly able to make progress, as we actually might get a good run on Sean Galale there. Sean, oh, not too sure what that was from Sean Galale, but we do keep the car on the inside, and we're up 2 spots in the end. So that's good. We've got yellow flags out as well. I think that's one. Is that Lundgaard? Or not Lundgaard? Marcus Armstrong even going slowly. Yes, it is. So he is out of this Grand Prix. The first retirement of the day there. So that's going to promote us up to P19. Luckily for us, no safety car though, as that would pretty much put us in the bin. No one diving into the pits just yet at the end of lap 11 as we go into the back of Delatraz, just trying to time the run out of the final corner there. He is still going to have a bit better top end speed on us as we head down in towards the first corner. So once again, it looks like we're going to have to go to the outside of another car. Can Louis Delatraz do anything on the inside? No, he apparently cannot. So clearly, yeah, the grip advantage we've got still carrying us at the moment as Delatraz thinks about sticking the nose back at the inside. Can't do anything though, so we get a much better run at the corner. Roy Nissany just in front of us. Braking a little bit earlier than I was expecting there. We have to take a bit of evasive action as can we get the up and under on him despite putting it off the road. Come on, get the room. Find something as we head down the hill. We've got to just take every opportunity we can at the moment. And we are now... Are we past him? No, not quite. We head down in towards turn 8. Obviously don't quite have the tyre advantages that we did earlier on. Nissany holds it up the inside, so we're going to have to try and get a run out of turn 9. Clipping the grass on the way in, is it going to help us out? As we run a little bit over the curbs, and yeah, that's pretty much going to put pay to that. Oh, getting a bit squirrely out the final corner, but we still managed to get a really good run on Roy Nissany as we head down in towards the first corner. Everyone you can just see in front of us swapping for positions as well as up the inside we go, nice and late on the brakes. Tictum makes the move work on Sonoda as we've now got both Carlin cars just in front of us. Don't really want to be stuck behind these guys for too long, almost into the back of Daruvula. As we head through the first couple of corners, Sonoda as well, just going a bit defensive on the pair of us, sits on the apex through the next corner there, really sits on the apex through the next corner. We will still get a run to the inside, it'll move to the outside. Just like we tried to do on the Nissany last lap. Can we hook it up this time round? Trying to be a bit braver on the exit of the corner. Obviously all these guys' tyres pretty much completely hitting the cliff nails. Oh, a bit of contact between myself and Sonoda. I didn't quite give him the room that I had in mind, but we make the move work nonetheless. More yellow flags out as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap, as well as our first pitters in this race. Not too sure who's going slowly behind us, is it? I'm not too sure who it is. In all honesty, as we head up, we're back up into the top 10 though, up into 8th place once more in this race. Is who is that going slowly? If we get a safety car now, that really will not help us in our fight towards the front. Whoever it is, they don't clearly want to put the car to stop. They want to try and keep it going. There they go. It is Roy Nissany. And we've got that safety car. Do we pit onto another set of soft tyres? We have got a fresh set of new ones. I think we're going to have to pit now. But yeah, this has really, really hampered our race. In towards the final couple of corners though, ready to make our second pit stop of the day. For all the guys ahead of us, this has worked out really, really nicely, because obviously it means now they get effectively a free pit stop in this race. For all the guys that had already pit last lap, it's going to send them right behind all of us in this race. Markelov does opt to stay out in this race, so he's going to be back ahead of us. But can we get ahead of a few cars here? It is really going to leave us towards the rear of the field, this. At the moment, I'm wondering whether actually staying out on those hards might have been worth it. Now we're into the pits, but hopefully a fairly clean, tidy stop. Kramer, I think the only team double stack in. 6 seconds. Come on, go. And we're going to be still all the way down in P15. At this stage of the day, as long as we actually remember to release the pit limiter. So things, yeah, really not looking good for us. Really badly timed safety car. I honestly thought this could be a race we could have won here today. And now we're going to have to work up absolutely to the limit to try and even score some points. Here we go then, end of lap 16, 3 laps to go here, and things are going to get spicy at this Spanish Grand Prix, because we are about to go green flag racing. Sat behind Dan Tictum and Jack Aitken, just ahead of Sonoda and Daruvula in this one, but our teammate Schwartzman is out clear at the front. He's going to have some free space in front of him. He's going to have fresh rubber as well. So surely this is going to be a win for Prema, but where can we finish in this race? I'd love to try and score some points. If we could get 8th, that would be an absolute miracle at the end of this one. As you can see, everyone's sneaking out the final couple of corners, ready to go racing once more. Can we get a run on Dan Tictum, as it is now green flag racing? At the final corner we go. Do get a good run on Dan Tickton. Obviously, we won't have any... I don't think we'll even get DRS. We might get it for the final lap of this race there, but we need to try and have a bit of a brave send up the inside of Tickton in towards the first corner. We're certainly not going to be able to do that if he's going to move around into the braking zone, so I'm not able to capitalise as we head through the first couple of corners of the restart. Through turn 3, can we get our way to the inside? Yes, we can. See you later, Dan. Up into P14 once again of this race as we go purple through the first sector. And now, hopefully, I mean, we had a lot of extra pace around the midfield on similar tyres. Oh, up the inside of 8 gear, it's a very Formula 2 style move. There's a lot of contact in the process as we get fishtailing on the exit, and Tickton might be able to come back at us as we head down the hill there. That was a bit late by myself, but we do defend from Tickton as we head back up the other side. Can we now try and get a better run on Jack Aitken, pushing right up towards the gravel as we head out onto the back straightaway? Bit of a dive again. This time round a bit more composed, and we do slot it in front, and I'm going to P13 once more. 2 laps to go. We're trying to get a run on Drogovic as we head down in towards the first corner. Just snagging the inside wheel again there, just a little bit as we head through the first couple of turns. Tyre wear obviously not going to be a worry at the end of this race, but can we do the up and under again? Yes, we can. Drogovic gets out of the throttle on the X there, and I've got no idea why everyone else is struggling so much through turn 3. But I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take every opportunity we can. The same can be said for turn 4, as Lundgaard, struggling a bit with the understeer, completely comes across us down the hill in towards turn 5, as Drogovic is trying to find any other opportunity he possibly can to get back past us here. We get up into P12 once again of this race. We might be able to get a top 10, but I think 8th is probably a bit of a tall order, unfortunately. Can we get a run through turn 9? We do get to the outside for turn 10 on Lundgaard here. This is a drag race down the back straight. Pretty even on the brakes. We're trying to stop on the curb. Not going to help us out much, but we do get it slowed down. We do get around the outside, and we do get up into P11. Next up, Ilott. Oh, we need one good run out of the final turn once again, and look at that, the run we've got on Ilott. He's like a sitting duck on the exit of the corner there. New fast lap of the race as well. So those 2 bonus points could prove absolutely crucial come the end of the season. But we're still side by side with Callum as we head down in towards the first corner. We do make the move up the inside, and we do now move ourselves back up inside the top 10 of this race. Next up, a Lacey, but yeah, Mazepin, currently the man separating us from P8 in this Grand Prix here, with 1 lap to go from the Spanish Grand Prix. It was looking like we were going to be in a shot of the race victory, but the safety car has completely screwed us in this one. Giuliano Alesi, very, very slow, tries to come across us. We're going to have to send it deep in towards turn 5, but can't quite get the traction off the exit, and I think, unfortunately, it's only going to be P10, it might be P9 here in this Spanish GP. But yeah, probably one of the most frustrating positions to finish in a Formula 2 feature race as we head up the hill. Can we get a run on Mazepin, or Lacey even, I should say? Get a fairly decent run in towards the final couple of corners. Lacey tries to move across us, but we will send it up the inside nonetheless, and we will move ourselves back up into P9 of this race here. It's had to be ended up being one of those at damage limitation, and when are we finally going to get our first lucky break of the season? That is the question on my mind at the moment. But through the final couple of corners, Schwartzman is going to come through to take the feature race victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. A wonderful win for Prema. But again, when, oh when, are we going to get this break as we do close up to Mazepin, but it's not enough at the end there. When are we going to get our chance?
So another excellent win from Prema. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can, it's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema. And now, let's take a look at the driver's stand. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Alex, I'm going to go for Nikita Mazepin. The Russian driver was amazing in the overtakes.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. Prema extend their lead at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, Arden's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So there we are then, the end of the F2 feature race here from the Spanish Grand Prix. And yeah, when are we going to get our lucky break this season? 5 races so far, and none of them, I feel like, have really gone our way in the end there. But Schwartzman does take the race victory, 1.3 seconds ahead of Nobuharu Matsushita at the end of the race there. So it is a win for Prema. I guess we can be happy about that. But yeah, the final results really do not show the full race picture there. Markelov scores another podium, keeps up his good record of form there, ahead of Pedro Piquet, having a fantastic job in P4 there. Guan Yu Zhou 5th, ahead of Sato, Giotto, Mazepin, myself, and Giuliano Alesi rounding out the top 10 there. And yeah, looking at that high-tech starting on the front row tomorrow, should have a very, very good chance at a race victory there. But with the fastest lap bonus points, we do take home 4 points there. Better than nothing, I suppose. But yeah, still really, really gutted with that one. You can see Callum Ilott just missed out on points. There are actually a few big names missing out this weekend there. Lundgaard, Tictum, Sonoda, and Aruvula all missing out on points, as well as obviously Armstrong, who didn't make it to the checkered flag there. But that means in terms of the championship, we get jumped now down to P6 overall as we head in towards the sprint race tomorrow there. Schwartzman has taken a lot of points out of Markov. The gap at the top now just down to 7 points there, with Matsushita 30 back there, so it's very much already seems like a 2-horse race at the front of the field there. A big, big battle between Matsushita, Ilott, Armstrong, Zhou and Sato there, as well as probably Lundgaard, Mazepin and Tictum as well there in the battle for P3. But hopefully, you know, we can find some form and we can really try and battle towards the front there. You can see Piquet as well with some big points there, moves himself up into P13. Giotto down to 14th there ahead of Alesi and Aitken there, with just Aruvula, Samaya, Drogovic, Delatraz, Galeo and Nissani still yet to score points there. Teams-wise, though, Prema still looking strong at the top. 24 ahead of Racelab there. Virtuosi in P3 ahead of ART there. MP Motorsport jump High-Tech, Trident jump Dams, XC Carlin, Shrew, and then Campos even, for some reason, with no name anymore. I guess they're folding before the sprint race tomorrow there. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. But yeah, starting P9 tomorrow, we've got a bit of a point to prove this weekend. The paces felt good. Hopefully we can move our forwards. Obviously we'll be starting right behind Schwartzman and Matsushita here, so hopefully we can have a good one. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.